Welcome to New York City. When you think of Italian heritage here, one name probably comes to mind: Little Italy. But the story of this community is one of tremendous change. It began with massive waves of immigration and has evolved into the complex, shifting landscape we see today. Manhattan's Little Italy, centered on Mulberry Street, was first established back in the early 1840s, mainly in the Five Points area. By 1910, the neighborhood hit its peak, with nearly 10,000 Italians packed into a tiny 2-square-mile area. These early settlers were driven from their homes by agricultural failures and famine in Italy between 1880 and 1920. They were a mix of Sicilians and Northern Italians, all searching for a better life. But at first, the community was far from unified. Regional identities were strong. Neapolitans, Calabrians, and Sicilians often stuck to their own streets. For example, you'd find the Napolitani on Mulberry and the Sicilians on Mott Street. They barely spoke to each other because their dialects were so different. It wasn't until the second generation who grew up speaking English that these groups really started to come together as one community. Fast forward to 1978. If you visited the area, especially Grand Street, you'd still feel like you were on an edge of our homeland, surrounded by Italian restaurants and shops. You'd hear Italian spoken everywhere, some grammatically perfect, some not so much, but everyone shared a deep, nostalgic connection to their mother country. They had come to America for economic stability, chasing the American dream, because they couldn't find work back in Italy. Even then, a restaurant owner on Grand Street noted that while most of his customers were foreigners, Italian Americans still sought out his place because he was very well known in their Little Italy. Yet, a sense of loss was already creeping in. An interviewer at the time observed that while these Italian immigrants seemingly have everything in America, the one thing they truly lacked was Italy itself, a powerful, unshakable nostalgia. One of the first clear warning signs came from an interviewee on Grand Street, who sadly remarked that Little Italy was becoming a valley of tears. He saw it being rapidly encroached upon by new demographics, pointing out that now there are more Chinese people. That observation turned out to be incredibly prophetic. Today, Manhattan's Little Italy is just a fraction of what it once was. It's in a state of structural decline, shrinking year by year as neighboring Chinatown expands and essentially eats into its size. Many of the Italian families who once lived here have moved out to Long Island or relocated to the Bronx. What's left in Manhattan is now mostly a tourist destination, spanning just about 3 blocks along Mulberry Street. The tourist activity is vibrant, and it's widely acknowledged that without tourists, Little Italy wouldn't be the same. But despite its shrinking footprint, some cultural and commercial landmarks have managed to hold on, serving as powerful links to the past. You can still visit famous bakeries like Ferrara Bakery, which opened way back in 1892, or Caffè Palermo, known far and wide as the Cannoli King. These places continue to draw in visitors, offering a taste of history. And the traditions? They're very much alive. Religious and communal events are vital to the community's spirit. The Feast of San Gennaro is still a massive highlight, often shutting down streets for days of celebration. Then there's the Feast of San Rocco, organized annually by the San Rocco Society of Potenza, which was founded in 1889. A procession still makes its way down Canal Street, stopping at the few remaining Italian businesses. It's fascinating to see these traditions being kept alive, often by Italian Americans who were born in this country, showcasing their enduring pride. As Manhattan's Little Italy receded, the heart of Italian American life shifted, finding new, vibrant homes in the outer boroughs, especially the Bronx and Brooklyn. Let's talk about Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. Many locals will tell you this is the true Little Italy of New York today. Unlike the tourist-heavy streets of Manhattan, the Bronx neighborhood feels much more authentic. Here, you'll find countless restaurants and shops still run by first and second generation Italian Americans. The atmosphere is undeniably Italian. Walk down the street and you'll hear Italian and its various dialects spoken all around you. This community is built on stories of hard work and success. Immigrants who arrived with nothing, worked 7 days a week, and built their own American dream through sheer discipline and effort. The culture is carefully preserved. During the Feast of St. Anthony or Sant' Antonio, the street is lit up with illuminations that make you feel like you've been transported fattoris, a town in Sicily, or right back home. Then there's Brooklyn, which also has a significant and historic Italian-American presence. The neighborhood of Bensonhurst, for example, has certainly changed, with new immigrants arriving from places like Pakistan and India. But the Italian identity is still very visible. You'll see homes with a super Italian style, often marked by statues of saints like Saint Anthony, proudly declaring the family's heritage. Bakeries that have been in business for over 40 years are still the go-to spots for authentic Italian sweets. And the Feast of Santa Rosalia in Bensonhurst is a huge deal. It shuts down 18th Avenue for 10 whole days, complete with amusement rides, street food, and Italian music. It feels just like a summer night in an Italian coastal town. However, the modern struggle is real. Descendants and recent immigrants in Brooklyn recognize that the promise of the American dream is not what it used to be. As one resident put it, once upon a time, you could make good money when the cost of living was low. But now with costs so high, it's incredibly difficult to get ahead. So the story of Little Italy in New York is one of incredible resilience. While the original hub in Manhattan has shrunk to just a few blocks, the Italian-American spirit, its culture, and its traditions are thriving in the Bronx and Brooklyn. The language of the heart, be it a Sicilian or Neapolitan dialect, is a source of immense pride, especially now that the discrimination faced by early generations has faded. The dedication with which Italian Americans maintain their religious and cultural traditions centuries later is remarkable. Sometimes it even makes you wonder if you're truly in America. From the divided dialects of the 19th century to the tourist-filled streets of modern-day Manhattan and the authentic, hard-working communities of the Bronx and Brooklyn, the legacy of New York's Italian immigrants continues to shape this incredible city. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through New York's Italian heritage, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more stories.